Hey everybody, today I am going to show you another variation of the crooked river design, or I call it the snake in the grass. It's this one right here. I did a variation last night of this, and I've come up with another variation. It's pretty cool. I'm actually going to call this one the, I'm going to have to remember that. I'll come back to the name. But basically I flattened out two ends here, got the chocolate brown and the Kelly green, and I fused them together. I've got about 6 feet of each color, probably won't use all of it, and basically I've got a 1/2 inch buckle, which is this one here. So you got the 3/4 inch, and these two are actually a 1/2 inch because you're measuring the inside width of the opening. So I got two 1/2 inch here and a 3/4 inch here. So we'll start by going down through the top of the buckle, and by flattening these ends it makes it a lot easier to go down through the buckles. So go down through the buckle and then open up your long ends here and grab the two that you just put through and pull all your slack through until you get to the place where you fused them together. And looks like it got a little twisting going on, so we just got to work that out. Eventually it'll work itself out, and if not, you just keep pulling it back and forth. It'll eventually work out. Except this green does not want to work with me right now. There we go. Alright. Okay, so that's called the cow's hitch. That's how you attach it to one end of the buckle. Now what we want to do is flip over the buckle, insert your finger in between the two cords, and just pull all of your excess through, keeping the buckle flipped over on its back. And then you get your ends there, and it keeps the twisting. Now flip your buckle back over and go from the bottom up through, just like that. And that'll keep your cords from twisting on each other. And this is going to give you your basic shape of the bracelet. Undo that. Alright, and then you're going to have the buckle will be facing upwards right now, and you'll have your two strands coming out of the other side of the buckle just like this. This is where you would measure your length. So you want to go from this ledge here, right where my fingernail is. It's kind of hard to see like that, but there we go, right there at that ledge, all the way to this end here. And you're going to measure. So if you're doing a circumference of 8 inches, you're going to measure probably about 8.5, because you always want to do a little extra. So we're going to go about right there. Alright, now this is very similar to the last one I did last night. So you can start with either side. What you're going to do is you're going to create a loop over the center. Actually, I take that back, I'm sorry. Start with cobra. Yep, you're going to start with a cobra. So take your left over the center 2 strands. Take your right over the left, go behind the 2 strands, and then up through that loop. And that's what you call the Solomon. Some people call it the cobra. Same thing, different name. And get that nice and tight. Alright, now what you can do is, if you have, basically you can see that the green one went over the top, whichever color you have right here. Let me see if I can zoom in on this for you. Whichever color you have going over the top of the 2 strands, that's the one where you're going to make your loop. So I have the green there. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create a loop on the left side, and we're going over top of the 2 strands. Okay, you're going to take your brown, or left side, go over the top. I'm going to back this up just a little bit. There we go. So you're going to cross the left side over that loop that you created, take it around the back, and come up through that loop. And then go ahead and pull this tight. Now the one that I did last night, I actually don't have it sitting here. But the one that I had done last night, you just keep on using the same color and you keep doing the same loop. But this one, we're actually going to alternate. So now that we have done the green one with the loop, we're going to make a brown one. So you're just going to alternate steps back and forth. It's going to be the same thing, you're just alternating colors. So let me back up a little. You're going to make a loop right here on the right side, and you're going over the center. You're always going to go over top of the centers. Cross your green over, come up through that loop. And let me do this for you. I'll zoom in on this so you can kind of see what we got going on here. So you made your loop here with the brown, and then you take your right side, go over top, and then pull it up through that loop that you created right there. And then go ahead and pull this tight. This is a pretty easy bracelet. It has a pretty good look to it when it's all finished too. The name, I can't remember what I called this. I just had it in my head, but I wrote it down. So when I come back, when I finish this up, I'll give you the name. But it's something to do with like DNA. Sorry about that. For some reason, my the recording just stopped all of a sudden. But what I was saying is this is going to have a name similar to something to do with like a double helix or the DNA strand, the zigzag pattern of DNA strand. Alright, I'm going to do one more here real quick. So you're going to make your loop, and whatever color you have over top, that's the color you're going to make your loop out of. So make the loop, cross over, go behind, and then up through right there. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. I'm going to zoom all the way out here. Now my buddy Sergeant Rock, he's giving me a hard time because I forgot to take my work watch off yesterday when I was doing the video, and he said he was just mentioning he's giving me a hard time about wearing a metal banded watch when I do all these videos and I have all the supplies and then I go and wear a watch. But today, got the Raging River bracelet on just for Sergeant. Alright, so I'm going to finish this up, and when I come back I'll show you how to snip your ends and get everything all finished up for you. Once again, I am down to the bottom here, and what I've done is I've done the last step that I can do right here, but I can't end on this because there's just not enough. It can't be pulled tight enough for me to clip the end there. It'll end up falling through. So what I need to end on is a Solomon. So what I'm going to do is just create me a little more extra space here by holding onto the buckle and pushing up on everything. And I'm just going to do the Solomon. So what you want to look for, you want to look at your last one that you did. And on this one, if you can see this, the green one is the last one that went over top of the center. So that's the one that I need to put over top again. So create a loop on the right side, take your green over top, cross the left over that one, go behind, and then up through this loop. And we'll end on the Solomon. It shouldn't really affect the look of your bracelet because this is pretty much it's pretty similar to what we've been doing. Alright, so go ahead and pull that as tight as you can. I'm going to zoom back out on this. And before I pull the slack back through this to fill this gap up, I'm going to cut and singe the ends here. So make sure you get some nice and sharp scissors. And if you look at this, it's kind of hard to see, but I've got, I don't know, about 1.3 inches left over. And this this will fit my wrist. I'm not sure what length my wrist is, but it's probably around 7 or 8, I would say. So I used about 5 feet of each color. I always say practice with some old paracord that you've got, and then adjust accordingly. That way you're not wasting anything and you're not cutting something just to find out at the end that you've come up a little short. We're just going to singe the ends of these with the low part of the flame. kind of liquefy your nylon there. And then with a cold set of scissors, this is a new trick that I've been doing, use your scissors to push this down. It works really, really well. No hard edges. Basically solidifies as soon as that cold surface of the scissors hits it. And if you do it in a rocking motion, it kind of makes it nice and smooth and gives it a curved surface. And there we go. And that is that. Alright, so now that we have that, you can kind of pull this extra slack back down to fill that little gap that we had down here up. So the name that I wanted to give this is, well, I wanted to call it the double helix, because that's the look of the DNA strands. That one's already taken. That's already a name for something else. So I'm going to call this one the helical strand. So I'm going to name this the helical strand. But there you have it. That is the helical strand. If for some reason this has already been created, which I don't think it has because I did quite a bit of research on it, let me know. I'll get the name changed. But I hope you like this one. It's complete with bracelet. We got chocolate brown and Kelly green. Thanks again for watching, and please subscribe. Good night.